Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest is a current head coach of Morse Elite in New Jersey of the new USL W League, a second division women's professional soccer league. Welcome, Stephanie Savino, to the show.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
Yeah, we finally got to do this. I'm really excited to talk to you. So I know we've been meaning to do this for a while, but the USL W League is an absolute game changer for women's soccer, and I can't wait to get into all the details. But before we do, we ran a Twitter poll at Over Gotham Pod to see if Gotham FC fans were interested in sporting a team in the upcoming USLW League. 83% of the respondents showed interest. Most said yes, and the rest said depends. I'm sure that's based on, if a team's close to them or if they, sometimes you just have to feel it with that team. But there's a lot of changeover support. So I'm excited to bring these stories to you guys. Hopefully this interview here can push you guys all over the line. So again, thank you, Stephanie, for coming on.
Sounds awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for being here and taking some time out of your day to just have a little fun with us. But we're going to start, like Gary said, lighthearted. We're going to start having some fun. So I'm just going to do like some rapid fire questions for you. So whatever first thing comes to your mind, just answer it. We don't judge you, okay?
It sounds great. I'm a little nervous, but sounds great.
All right. It's pretty easy. So the first question is best pizza in Long Island.
Growing up in Hicksville, there's Pastaria. So it has amazing, I'll talk about the sauce. It has amazing red sauce. And I'll say a beautiful crust. So like perfect pizza.
Yeah. What will be the best place but here in Jersey?
There's a few places in Manhattan. Oh, wait. In New Jersey, you're asking?
Yeah, Jersey.
So,
do you know any, or just want to keep it Long Island?
The owner of Morse Elite just opened up a place called The Shop, and I unfortunately, I did try the pizza, and it's very good. I just tried it after a game, though, after players picked at it, so yeah. I need to go and get some fresh pizza.
All right. So it's new. We'll
yes, it's brand new.
Go. All right, sounds good. Soccer teams that you follow?
Definitely Gotham FC. And then honestly, just the national teams are high on my radar, both women's and men's. And I work at MLS, so it's really hard for me to say any particular team, but MLS teams.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. 100% dogs. Love them.
Sorry, Gary.
Oh, sorry, Gary.
All right.
Star Wars, yes or no?
No. I'll say no.
And let's see if you remember this one. This was more a little throwback. First CD you purchased?
Probably NSYNC, if I had to guess.
Yeah, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. So NSYNC, yeah, me too. Love that one. But those were some of the fun questions. I'm gonna let the hard questions for Gary. Always.
I have one more easy question for you. And
okay.
I hear there is a right or wrong answer here. So North Shore or South Shore?
I grew up on the North Shore, so I'll naturally say North Shore.
I think I heard North Shore was the wrong answer. I'm not.
Shoot. I failed.
Very good. First, Morse Elite is simply crushing it right now. You guys are top of the table, 5 wins in a row, just dominating. So what do you owe to your early successes so far?
Honestly, it was a journey to get to where we are right now. It was a long road, and I don't want to say long, but it was a steady road to get to the recruiting levels that we did. And I couldn't have done it without the staff. We all pinched in and found the best players that we knew would compete in the environment and fit the criteria of the game model. And before we got everyone on the pitch, we did Zoom calls, we did preparation meetings, we talked about the game model. We first and foremost got to know each other, and that was a huge priority of mine in the environment. Players are people first, so what do you like? Dogs, cats, let's get to know each other a little bit. And then from there, it's just been a truly positive environment. So there's a lot to like thank in the past 8-9 months that we've done.
Yeah, and you rushed through it too, because you got open tryouts, you have scout. I mean, because you're putting a team together from scratch without much, you don't have much scouting yet. So it's a right? So it's all just thrown all kind of it's kind of thrown it all together.
Yeah, it was challenging for sure. The best part was when you did find a player or two that knew another player that they've played with in the past at PDA or whatnot, and then you bring them together back into the environment and see what they can do together, and then add another player to that mix. Oh wow, now we're going to keep building. So it's a really cool. You thought it would be super super challenging, but once you started to get into the flow and reach out to everyone, you found your group.
Where can fans watch you guys play?
We stream on, it's either on YouTube or 11 Sports. I think right now we're trying to get everything on 11 Sports, so hopefully fans can tune in there.
Yeah, and you guys play at a place that's very familiar to Gotham Sky Blue fans. You play at Rutgers, correct?
We do, we do. So we're in the backyard.
Right away. Awesome. And so tell us a little about your players. So what type of players does the W League look for? And again, tell us about some of your players.
So I'll go backwards from the oldest to the youngest. So on
Mhm.
the oldest side, we have college players that are recent grads or grad students. And then we have a mix of senior, juniors, sophomores, and a couple of incoming freshmen. What we're really proud of as a club is having a few select youth players that have been joining us on the women's side. And the youngest being currently she's finishing up her sophomore year. So to have those type of players in the environment to get the experience and gain the confidence to compete at a higher level with older women, I mean, that's going to be something that will benefit us greatly in a few years.
Tell us about your goal scorers. I mean, Katie Coyle and Lauren Wrigley, they are just dominating right now. I think each have at least 5 goals. So what makes them such a dynamic strike pair?
So Lauren Wrigley is a very elite player from UNC Chapel Hill, and her 1-2 movement around defenders is absolutely dynamite. So we're super proud of how she just effectively builds up to advance into that final third and just is really great at finishing. And then on the left flank, we have Katie Coyle, who's got the left foot that, no one can stop. And she's got speed on top of it. So you combine a left footed, speedy winger out there, get her the ball, anything could happen. So we're just very fortunate to have those two on our side for sure.
So Ruby,
Yeah.
you want to ask some questions about being from Long Island?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions here. So, as I asked you in my first question about the pizza, we know you're from Long Island. We asked this question before to Shep Messing. He's another Long Island native. So many high level soccer talent comes from Long Island. What is it about Long Island that breeds such fierce soccer players or competitors?
I think there's very strong youth clubs on Long Island, and I was part of Albertson Fury growing up. Now they're combined with Sousa, and Sousa has developed a huge talent pool on Long Island. And not just the talent pool, but offering players a beautiful facility. When you find the right clubs that are going to offer a holistic viewpoint on talent development, that's what's going to keep players and get them coming back for more and more. And on Long Island, I think soccer has just continued to be a powerful sport. There's others, but it continues to grow and it continues to get these youth clubs to be top notch. So it's a mix, right? You have the
Yeah.
families that are having kids and seeing that, oh, soccer was something mom and dad did growing up. Now they want to do it. And it's a trickle effect. So honestly, it just starts with some of the best youth clubs on Long Island.
Awesome. I do think it's like when you play soccer before, I know when I have kids, I'm going to make my kids play soccer. I'm going to be
For
that mom.
sure, for sure.
But yeah, before interview, we were looking at your resume and top to bottom, it's all soccer there. Where did your love from soccer come from?
I have always played it. I've always loved it. I think it was just putting a ball at my feet was my happy place. And I was fortunate enough to be fast. So I knew that I just loved to dribble forward and go score goals. So once I started to find the fundamentals of the game and find my love for a specific position, then I was just like, okay, I'm never stopping this sport. So much so that I had practice last night. I went to a semi-pro practice. A few of our coaches at Asphalt Green coach a NIAC team in the WPSL, so I crashed their practice last night. So it was super fun.
That's awesome. But what was it like growing up and playing soccer in Long Island for you?
I have so many fond memories of growing
Yeah.
up on Long Island and playing soccer. I can think about the fields that we traveled to just, 7 minutes down the road in Hicksville, all the way to the fields out east. And I think one of the fondest memories that I have are just like how dedicated my parents and my dad would be driving me around from sport to sport, from field to field. And, picturing getting out of the car, field lights are on, it's dark out, you're about to hit the pitch for a 7:30 p.m. training session, and you're there, like you're just back in your happy place. And I was so fortunate enough to have that journey and that pathway provided, so it was really awesome.
That is really awesome. And yeah, those long drives to soccer games, that's fun.
Always.
But obviously we can see like soccer is your big passion and you're all about it. But outside of soccer, what's something people may not know about you? What else are you expert in, or what hobbies do you have outside of soccer?
So my husband and I thoroughly enjoy Italian food. So we make a lot of homemade pasta, and I think in our downtime, that's probably the one of the favorite things that we do.
Yeah.
And then outside of making food and eating a lot of food, I love to sew, actually. So I've made baby
Oh,
quilts. And
okay.
it's so random, but
Yeah.
I really love it. And when I can, make a baby quilt and gift it to my sister, it's just the best. So
That is really random because you not hear many people like, yeah, I quilt.
it's so
But
random.
and you mentioned Italian food. I don't know if you tried this restaurant in New Jersey. It's called the Pasta Shop in Denville. Amazing. If you
Okay.
ever get a chance to go, you need to go.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah.
I will definitely shop. I will give it a try. My
Yeah.
my schedule going to Jersey is very unique, where I'm traveling in the morning. So I eat a lot of bagels from Jersey. So that's a good thing too.
So
All
how do the
right.
bagels compare to Long Island and Manhattan in
Honestly,
New
I think
Jersey?
they're pretty on par.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
a couple of bagel shops that are very equivalent to, there's a great bagel place by us in Manhattan, and then Bagel Boss on Long Island. Like they're pretty good.
I have one last questions. What are your goals for this season?
I want to give you the obvious answer, but I'll give you a more detailed answer. That's,
Okay.
the best advice someone gave me recently, and it's taking
Hmm.
it day by day. And for us, we're just constantly looking at what's next and constantly thinking about our next game, which is the most important game. So I will say that we've told the team from the very first conversations, from the very first tryout, we are winning the W League. But in this conversation, I'll tell you the most important thing is our next game. So that's just how we see it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little about the W League. So as someone who's been around the game for as much as you have, so tell us just generally about the W League and why it's so important to have a Division Two league.
So what we're doing, and so thankful for USL for putting this together, is we're providing that pathway for women. And it's not just women playing the sport, it's women being active in the game with coaching, with refereeing. And we're starting to see more females involved on the sideline, which is fantastic. And having this opportunity for this to be I'll use this word again, holistic approach, where we're getting more females in the game, is just so important. It's so valuable to not just what we're doing, but then, hey, Parkinson, like we've got players for you. Like it's about that too, right? Like what are we doing to help serve the professional game? And come next season, or I should say next year, USL will have the Super League. So this is going to continue to just be opportunistic for female players. And like if I could go back in time to think, wow, I could have had that opportunity. Now I've got so many players under my wing, and I've got an opportunity to still be involved in it. So, how fortunate are we to have this? So it's really special.
Yeah, I really wanted to ask you that, like on a personal level, how would have having the W League at the time you graduated college as a option for you?
I totally wish we had something. I think about it a lot, and I think about it in ways that I wish I could have seen my journey continue as a player. But one thing that I really love is that I don't have any regrets because I'm still involved and I'm still where I need to be. And I know I'm where I need to be because I'm helping players get to where they want to be. And I think that's the most valuable thing that we can do as coaches is help mentor and inspire the players that want to go pro. Like, let's help them get there. So that's my job now. So it's really awesome.
And you touched a little bit on this in your first answer, but one of the major concerns, as you know, I'm sure you know, the trials and tribulations of being in the NWSL with protecting players and ensuring that players have a safe environment and safe system. What is different about the USLW League that ensures these systematic abuses don't continue?
It's on the league and it's on the staff. So what are we doing? And I'll say it on our staff. What are we doing to make sure that our players are in the most positive based environment? How are we keeping their mentality healthy? If we have some individuals coming to us to say they're struggling, like we are there for them every step of the way. We're not just letting them go by the wayside and saying good luck. And from a protection standpoint, I couldn't have asked for a better staff to understand what we're doing truly matters to them. So we treat them with respect and it's vice versa. And like I said in the beginning, people first. When we have that people first mentality, we know that they'll appreciate it and they'll love it. And that's exactly what's happening within our team environment. And I'm proud to say that the girls, I believe, feel very protected because of that. So and as a female, that's really important to me. So it's so valuable in our environment.
And I think what the biggest thing for me is just the level of opportunities that there are now for women. Because I know so many players that have fell by the wayside that were just talented as all get out, but they just didn't have the opportunity to either grow. Because as the NWSL as a league, it's a win now league. So there's really not much time for development. So I think this league itself is going to be such a big improvement on just development itself. And as you're talking about, so talk a little about the development pathway of the USL W League.
Within the clubs within USL W League, you have a lot of youth clubs. And honestly, it's dependent on what the staff sees as opportunistic for players. Now, I think you kind of worded it as like players don't make it or players kind of like fall through at a specific point. And you can forgive me if I'm butchering the verbiage a little bit, but how do we have coaches that believe in the players that want to make it to the next level? And, it could be that they're slacking on a specific skill or their speed, but the game's not always just about speed. It's not just about that specific skill. So what are we doing to create a truly 360 player that can excel in many areas and find opportunities for her to fix certain areas? But we have to believe in her. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to do as coaches and with coaches of the youth club as well.
So how would you describe your coaching philosophy?
That's a very easy question for me to answer. My job as a leader is to empower women and believe that they're capable of doing whatever they set their mind to, but also challenge them to think even bigger, even better. And if one day I have a player that's coaching alongside me on the sideline, that's when I know I did my job right. So I'm only hopeful that they see that this is something that they can do when they grow up, or perhaps when their playing journey maybe comes to an end, but still want to stay involved.
And what would you think is what is the future of this league? Do you think it can be competing with the NWSL, or do you think it's going to be just a self-contained league?
I don't. Well, it's different, right? Because you have the USL Super League that could be there in the top-notch level, but I think what's going to happen within the USL W League specifically is that we're going to begin to funnel players into the system to get them to the professional level. So I'm not saying that we're competing. I'm saying that we're going to continue being a pathway. And that's what we've set out to do, not just for players, but for coaches. But that's how we're going to get players even more involved in the game at the levels that they want to compete at.
So you're playing pretty much teams in your own division. Is there a rivalry that's already beginning for your team? Is there anything like that going on right now, or is it still just feeling each other out and building that rivalries?
I can't say through other divisions there's a specific rivalry, but when you look at power rankings and you start to see, similar clubs within the top 5, top 10, you start to pinpoint, okay, like we've got to keep our eye on them. They may be an opponent that will compete against within the playoffs. So right now the focus is, finishing everyone in the division and then taking it from there.
Okay. So when is your next game?
We play Sunday, and we play Westchester. So
In Westchester?
in Westchester
Okay.
area, I should say.
Okay. So when is your next home game? When can we come to see you?
Next home game is July 2nd. We have Long Island Rough Riders in Rutgers, Newark.
Okay. So do you have any? So is Long Island Rough Riders a team that you followed growing up?
Yes, I mean not like a lot, but I would say I kept my eye on them for sure. And now I can say just competing against them.
Yeah.
Of course.
All
I'm
right.
actually planning to go to the one in July 9th against Queensboro. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there July 9th.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ruby. That's awesome.
Yeah, Ruby. I think Ruby says she lives like 5 minutes from your practice field.
Yeah.
I'm
in Morristown.
Oh, that's so great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
you should come to a training session if you'd like.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do some on the field reporting. That'd be great.
Right.
You're more than welcome to.
Fantastic. And I will get to a game soon enough. I'm in Allentown, a little farther away, but I'll try to get there as soon as I possibly can.
Very cool.
But Stephanie, this has been a really good interview. I appreciate everything that you do, and continue doing really well. We're going to follow you, and we're going to keep our fans from Gotham informed of what's going on in your league. And yeah, we can't wait to build that league with you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the support, and keep doing what you're doing too, because you guys are part of the growth of women's soccer, and we all need to collectively keep doing our job. So good job.
That's right.
Thank you. So, all right, everyone, we've reached the end of our episode. We really want to thank you again, Stephanie, for taking the time to talk to us. Again, wish nothing but the best. All right, everyone, we'll be back next week as always. So for Stephanie, myself, and Ruby, we thank you all for tuning in. We will see you on the next one.